What's up, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Wizards Latest. I'm your host and DC sports fan, Ben Robertson, and on this page, we break down all the biggest headlines surrounding the Washington Wizards. So, today, I want to talk about the latest roster move Will Dawkins has made in what continues to be a fairly busy offseason. I want to revisit Alex Sarr's record setting performance. I want to break down how I think the Wizards have potentially landed another NBA draft steal, and I'm not talking Trey Johnson. And lastly, what else should we expect from the rest of Summer League? So, as always, like and subscribe down below. Drop your comments with any thoughts you might have on the video. I appreciate all of the support, you guys. I appreciate you continuing to come back to Wizards Latest, and let's jump right in here today. So, Rashawn Holmes has been waived. This was a move that was really expected since the signing of Marvin Bagley. Holmes only guaranteed about 250K on his contract, so made him an easy candidate to get waived. One-time double-figure scorer in the NBA, gave us some solid minutes when he did play last year, about 7 points, 5 rebounds per game, and 31 games played on the year. Means really Alex Sarr, Marvin Bagley, Tristan Vukcevic expected to be the big men that are going to get the majority of the playing time going into next season. And it continues what's really been a pretty active summer here for Will Dawkins. Of course, the additions of Cam Whitmore, Marvin Bagley last week, the Poole for McCollum trade, at least the headliners of that deal. Wizards were busy on draft night itself. Dawkins continues to play chess, as we've talked about here on the page, and I think will continue to do so. Still some roster moves you have to expect coming this offseason, with the roster having to get trimmed down a little bit before the beginning of next year. But want to talk about what this means for the roster situation, and really in particular for Alex Sarr next season. I think you're going to see more of the Sarr show. He's going to have the opportunity to do different things like we've seen him do in Summer League and in his rookie year, and try out different things, whether it's bring the ball up, whether it's attack from the inside, whether it's attack from the outside. I think he's going to have the chance to figure out where he fits in best in the NBA. And as I've discussed, I think, Brian Keefe, Will Dawkins, this front office and coaching staff is in just total evaluation mode going into next year. They want to figure out what they have with every single young talent on the roster. There's, of course, so many young players, and Sarr might be the biggest piece, or one of the biggest pieces in that process. He was so good, man, in that Summer League Game 2 matchup against Brooklyn. 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 blocked shots against Brooklyn. A Summer League record, 8 blocked shots, I should add. The defense was so impressive in both games. The ability just to get off the floor so quickly and get to shots that you just don't expect him to be quite honest, is just ridiculous. Showed up that off against Phoenix, and then obviously in the second matchup against Brooklyn as well. I think that's only going to improve. He's only going to get better on the defensive end as things progress. He also has the ability to block shots and then grab the rebound sometimes. He blocks it inbounds and then goes and grabs the board himself, which is just an incredible skill. Offensively, I loved how he attacked the basket early and often in game 2. And I know that they weren't all going. He missed some shots just right at the rim. He was getting downhill and not just settling for jumpers from the perimeter. And I love that, just that mindset he had in the second game. And he got better as things progressed and those shots around the rim started to fall for him. I think he's going to figure out ways to just get his shot off a little bit cleaner in the lane as he gets more comfortable. Use sort of a combination of his athleticism and his touch just to get some easier looks. Right now, I feel like he's trying to finish over somebody every time he gets to the hoop, and I think he's going to grow in that regard. And again, just the shot blocking, just ridiculous from Alex Sarr, in particularly in game 2, but in both matchups of this summer league so far. Another player that really stepped up in game 2 of the summer league against Brooklyn was Will Riley. Like Sarr was maybe a lackluster game one, and he had 16 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. That was the stat line for Will Riley in game two against Brooklyn. Man, is this another steal in this draft? Obviously, we're so excited about being able to land Trey Johnson with the number 6 pick. But remember, Will Riley is a player that was drafted at number 21. And for myself included, with the 18 pick that we held going into this year's draft, there was a lot of expectations on it and a lot of thoughts at who might get taken there. Will Dawkins trades back to 21, gets an additional second round pick. Remember, gets back into the second round and gets Jameer Watkins, and then lands Will Riley, who right now it looks like might be one of the more underrated talents in the class. And how nice is it just to have a GM and a front office on your side and on your team that it's like, man, we're going to find the right guy. We're going to find the premium talent where maybe everyone else might not look. Will Dawkins has had his eyes on Will Riley for years, since his high school days. And again, I just love that we have the guy that's able to go out and identify those moves and those smart kind of decisions and land a guy like Will Riley. Would love to hear your thoughts below on what you think the potential for Will Riley is in the NBA. Wouldn't mind seeing him play more a little bit in the summer league. Just think he could use all of the experience he could get. Of course, back-to-back action for the last two regular season summer league games against Philly and Utah for the Wizards. Really not necessarily expecting to see Ace Bailey and VJ Edgecombe for Utah and Philly to play in those games with the injury situations they've already had. And I'm not really sure what we're going to see from the Wizards either. This isn't really a prediction or anything confirmed, but I would be pretty surprised to see Alex Sarr, Trey Johnson, even Bob Carrington, Keyshawn George. I know Trey's still a rookie, but just with all of those guys, I think they've not only done enough, but I would imagine they want to just end them on a positive note in the summer league. And of course, battling for that win against Brooklyn would be a really nice way to close things out for those guys. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing Will Riley again. Just think he could use all the experience he can get right now. Wouldn't mind seeing players like AJ Johnson, Jameer Watkins maybe elevated into the starting lineup, maybe get them a little bit more increased roles here to close out the summer league. Dylan Jones was didn't play in the game two matchup against Brooklyn, only played 9 minutes against Phoenix. And unless there's an injury there that we're not sure about, I imagine he's going to get a little bit more opportunity here in the summer league. And really, there's several guys at least on the roster that have registered DNPs even so far in the summer league that I think you're going to have are going to get their opportunity here as things progress. We'll keep you posted on all of it right here on Wizards Latest. So make sure you like and subscribe. Again, drop your comments with any thoughts on the video down below. You can hit me over on Twitter with them as well at Ben Robertson 32, especially on game nights. Try to be really active over there and interact with some of you guys. I appreciate all of the support. Again, let's keep it rolling. And thanks for watching another episode of Wizards Latest.